We all have goals. However, if we meet those goals, we need to have something else to fall onto. And this is what that thing is. So, welcome back, Equity Podcast. Coach Barrick here. We're giving you the tools to be fit for life. And what we're talking about on that front end is process goals. So, you know, it's a new year. We've talked about, before the new year, we talked about having goals and how to reach them. And we talked about what the goal is, why do we have that goal, and what are the actions to get that goal. And I want to talk a little bit more about the action side of things. And one way to reframe this is instead of having a cheat like specific goals, smart goals, which aren't a bad thing. We still want smart goals, but to have something else associated with that is something called process goals. And these process goals can help us get to where we want to get. So the process goals are what are the things that I'm going to do in order to become the person I want to be, to reach the goals I want to reach. And that's going to be super helpful in becoming the type of person we want to become. So, one way to think about this is if I want to be healthy, what I can do is I can ask myself, what would a healthy person do? And then I'm going to do those things that a healthy person will do. And that is a process. I'm going to eat real whole food. I'm going to prep my lunch every day for work instead of eating out. I am going to go for a walk while I take my kid to soccer practice instead of sitting in the car and doom scroll. What are the things, what are the processes, what are the things that healthy people do? And they're going to help us get to that. Now, the benefit of having these type of process goals is that once we achieve them, there isn't this letdown. So, for example, if my goal is to lose 10 pounds and I lose that 10 pounds, where do I go next? What happens next? Versus, I want to be healthy and I do all the things that a healthy person does and I lose 10 pounds. Well, now, yes, that may have been my small goal, but now my goal is to work out 3 days a week for a year. Well, I'm just going to keep doing that. And then after that year, I'm probably going to keep doing that because now that is the type of person that I am. Right. And we see this really in working out, in nutrition, in wealth and financial planning, in personal finance. All these three things are super related in how you see success in those three things. For example, if you save $10, if you save $100 into your emergency fund, that's a help, but it's not something super big. It's not gonna, it's not the end of your personal finance journey, right? That's just a small part of it. If you do one workout, you're not going to see any results from that. If you eat one good meal, you're not going to see any results of that. All three of these things are delayed gratification. We need to be able to understand I'm going to do the hard things now so that later on things are easy. So when it comes to wealth, I'm going to save now. I'm going to have a 6-month emergency fund. I'm going to put money away for retirement now, even though it's really, really hard to do that. It's hard to put that money away. But when I have an emergency, if I lose my job, if we have a sickness in the family, or if something happens, it's going to make that time easier. If I work hard now, if I put in the hard work now, if I do hard things now, it's going to make something else easier later. When it comes to nutrition, I want the freedom to have bread pudding. the freedom to go to a party and, have some things that I like. But in order to do that, I need to do and still look and feel good and still look and feel healthy. I need to do the hard things now by planning my meals, by making sure I'm eating balanced meals, to make sure I'm eating real whole food, to limit the processed food and the added sugars so that I can enjoy them from time to time. In the gym, if I want to be kicking ass in my 90s, if I want to be able to sit on the floor and play with my grandkids, if I want to be able to play a pickup football game here and there and not hurt myself, I'm going to put the work in now. I'm going to do the hard things now so I can have an easier time later. If if you don't take care of your health now, you're going to have a hard time in your later years. It's going to be harder then. So choose your hard, because one of the times the hard's going to come and get you eventually. When do you want it? And that is the whole point. It's not just, oh, I want year round abs, or I want to lose 30 pounds, or I want to, you know, 200-pound clean and jerk. Yes, sure. We can get those things along the way. But the people that have those things, or the person that you want to be, more specific, not the people that have those, the person that the you that has that in the future, what do you think that person is doing? And you might not know specifically what that is, but when you start down that road, when you just get one step, you will find something out on the next step, right? You don't need to know exactly how to get there, but you need to take that next step. You need to be able, the most important step is the next step. So that's what you need to do. You just need to take that next step. What are the processes that you can put in place now? And then how are those processes going to evolve over time? Right? If my goal is to be something a healthy person, a person that works out 6 days a week, but I haven't worked out in 5 years, I'm not going to jump to six. There needs to be somewhere in between there. I'm going to start my process at maybe 2 days a week, and then we can build up to that process over a specific metric. Again, specific metrics aren't bad, but we want to pair them with process goals so that we don't fall off the tracks as easily. So we have some guardrails, so we have some processes, some habits in place to help us get to where we want to get and continue to make progress to where we want to be. What we don't want is that yo-yo effect where we're losing all the weight and then gaining it back, and then losing the weight and gaining it back. That's because you hit that goal and then you just like, oh, I hit it. I can just stop doing all the things that I needed to do. That's not what a healthy person does. And this is why when we were talking about the goals a few weeks ago in the podcast, that's why we talked about action. What's the action that you need to do to reach this thing? What's the process we need to do to reach that thing? Hope this was helpful. If you think it might be helpful for somebody else, share. I'm going to be that guy. If you never ask for it, people don't do it. So I need to at least ask. If you liked this, if you enjoyed it, if you got something out of it, like throw me a comment. That helps reach other people, right? And I know it's super corny and tacky, but if you don't ask, people don't do it. So please and thank you. As always, I really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to add a tool in your toolbox. Thank you so much.